Okay, there we go. Let me just get this here. There we go. Okay, welcome Simogili. Thank you so much for joining. We are live. I'm just trying to see who is here. Go through here. Okay. So thank you so much for joining, Simogile. It is the 7th of June. It's a new month. Open Mic Foundation is celebrating Youth Month in South Africa. And, you know, we titled, you know, the month of June Youth, to embrace our youth for today and also look at and say, you know, youth has no age. You know, I truly believe youth has no age. We only as young as we feel. So welcome. And yeah, welcome. And thank you so much for joining. We have a few people that's online. Skoo is a dear friend of mine. Skoo is actually from Port Elizabeth. She gave one of the first talks at the event. Welcome, Skoo. We have Natasha and we have Amina online as well. Welcome, ladies, and thank you so much for joining. So today's conversation, we're kicking off Youth Month with Simongile, and the topic is love rooted in self. How intriguing, Simongile. You're kicking it off. You're kicking it off with just love, and we're going straight to that. So thank you so much for joining. I think let's introduce yourself and, you know, tell a little bit about the audience about, you know, who you are, and a little bit about yourself before you get into the topic with everyone.
Okay. No problem. Well, thank you very much for having me, and hello everybody that's watching. So a little bit about myself. My name is Sibongile Masemola. I am 25 years old, and I really am passionate about talking to people and helping people. And you'll see through my testimony and my story as I share it, you'll see exactly where that came from. And I think it is a purpose-driven thing, and it's a passion of mine to help others, especially young people, to realize exactly who they are. Because I have been fortunate enough in my life to, from a young age, let's just say 15 in particular, to have found and discovered my purpose. So it's made me learn how to love myself, because I only realized that in order for me to help people and to treat people the way they're supposed to be treated is if I was secure and solid within myself. And that's how my journey of self-love started happening. So yeah, is that it?
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, to be 25 and to have that self-love inside of you at this young age is absolutely amazing. Not a lot of people, and I'm saying people, not even women, but not a lot of people understand what that means. And for yourself to have figured that out at such a young age it's absolutely incredible. It's some people, and I know of recent, you know, a lot of women themselves, you know, some of them don't really know what that means yet. So there's a lot of people still trying to understand what that means. So that's fascinating, absolutely stunning. So over to you. Let's share your story with us.
Okay, so at 15 years old, I was in high school and I was a peer counselor. So what that means is we would offer counseling services to our peers from grade 8 to matric. Whoever wanted to come in and share their grievances, whoever needed a shoulder, they would come and we would provide those services. So that's when I started realizing that I'm actually pretty good at listening and helping people and offering them advice. Because it got to a point where I would speak to young people, and it was an all girls school, and I would speak to young people about their insecurities. And even though most of them came to me with their relationship issues, but you would also get those special cases where it was terrible, about situations at home, about alcohol abuse, about abuse in general. And for a person that's never necessarily experienced those things firsthand, I could tap into a level of empathy that would allow me to provide that advice and that assistance and support emotionally to be able to help them through their experiences and through their journey. And through that realization, I told myself, I made the decision that in order for me to be able to help and reach out to these people, especially to connect.
We do have a little bit of a delay. Simbogile, we're losing connection. Just hold on. Here we go. You're back on. You're back on. I can see you now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so in order for me to be able to connect with these people and show them what love is, I had to know what that is for myself. So I started my journey of self-love through reflecting, who am I? What do I like? What do I want? Because it got to a point where they would ask, what would you do in a situation? And you can never really dictate someone's action, but you can listen to them to understand what they need instead of listening to them to respond. So it got to a point where I was able to take in whatever issue that they had and guide them, assist them. And through that practice, I was able to do the same for me. So when it's
so let me ask you something, right? So that's a very young age to counsel. Did the children at the time that you were counseling them, did they feel safe with you, knowing that you were, I think, you were the same age as them, or probably in school with them? Was it something that they could open up to you at that age?
Okay, well, personally, I believe yes, because we were peers, same age group.
Yes.
We pretty much were going through the same things in terms of if they're experiencing something because they are of that age. So, for example, was something with school, it's something that I can relate to. If it's boyfriends or friendships, it's something we can all relate to. And I think sometimes when it comes to people, young people opening up to adults, there's some kind of expectation of like, okay, I'm either going to be judged or they don't know what I'm going through, and there's that barrier already. So I think it made it a little bit easier for people to come to me or to people to actually share what they're going through. But at the end of the day, and you can also tell that people at the first point of contact, they're not going to show you who they are, or they're not going to spill all their beans and tell you all their problems, but they're going to do it in a way where it's comfortable for them. Then they share what they have to say. And depending on your response and how you are able to manage the conversation, they feel more comfortable. And through that, I guess, easing into the conversation, you're able to make them comfortable to share more, and then they back and then you help them, and then
I think it's a level of trust that you built with them as well at that young age. Opening up and sharing these type of stories, or sharing what they're going through, especially young kids. It is, if they trust you or not, it's very, very crucial. So it's quite fascinating that you started something like this at the age of 15 in school. It's quite incredible, definitely, for sure.
Thank you very much. And I also encourage people to actually talk about their feelings, and if however they express pain or anger and fear, they should find an appropriate outlet for them, whether it's crying or taking up dancing or boxing or whatever it may be. But when it comes to talking about your feelings and your expectations, as well as setting boundaries, personal boundaries, and boundaries amongst your relationships, it's very important, or else you're going to feel stuck. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Right. You can continue.
Okay, so cool. So I'm just going to dive into a little bit of more of the topic. So when it comes to love, and for a person being a whole 25-year-old talking about love and self-love, I know it's a little bit like, what does she know? What is she talking about? but it's more of a personal experience and what I have realized throughout my journey with helping other people. So when I talk about love, especially self-love, it's not about loving other people less. It's about loving yourself more to a point where you are able to help other people and to love other people. Because when you talk about self-love, it's not about vanity, it's about sanity. Because you get to a point where you are able to take care of yourself, and through that, you can take care of others. You'll be kinder to yourself, and then you'll be kind to others. And you'll be more patient with yourself and stop putting pressure upon yourself. And through that, you'll be patient with other people.
We just losing connection with Simbongeri, guys. She just has a little bit of trouble with connection. Here we go. We connected again.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so through the self-love journey, you'll be able to learn exactly what you can tolerate, what you'll accept, what you want as a person. And you also realize that there are 3 things other people cannot give you. They can't give you acceptance, they can't give you purpose, and they cannot give you your identity. So you won't need to find approval or acceptance from somebody else because you'll have it within you. You won't fall into relationships where you are stuck and you feel trapped doing the same thing day in, day out because you feel like you have no purpose and no passion. You're not passion driven. So their passion or their wants and their life become your wants and your needs. But that's not the case. And when it comes to identity, you start finding other people that can fill a void because you don't know who you are. So when it gets to a point where you don't know where you're going, what you want, or what you need in your life, you start looking for that in other people that you believe can either from whatever situation you happen to be in. So when it comes to expectations, a lot of people have this mindset that if you have low expectations, you're never going to be disappointed. You don't need to really like open up your heart and trust people because people are always going to disappoint you. But that's a very dangerous mentality to have because you get exactly what you expect. So if you have low standards or low expectations, people are not rising up to the occasion. They're not going to know what you want or what you need. Do anything, and then you're going to just be like, oh, it is what it is. That's just how it is. But it is not. If you have high standards and if you have high expectations, and especially expectations that you are able to communicate and articulate to the people you love, you'll be able to see those results. They know she doesn't expect, she wants quality work. You know, if you're in a professional setting, this person wants quality work, or we're going to have a client presentation. Guys, we can't show up with sweatpants or whatever it may be. Those are very simple examples, but in general, when it comes to expectations, you get exactly what you expect. So once you are able to communicate and articulate exactly what you want in your relationships, you'll be able to get what you need. But when it comes to relationships, these are all types of relationships. And when I think about relationships, I'm talking about you as a person in relation to somebody else and that potential that that relationship has. So if you make the choice to get to know somebody, you are also looking at the potential aspect of that relationship, which means that you are willing to cultivate that potential and unearth that potential that you see in them that aligns with what you want. Because as soon as you
Simongile. There we go. Your sound came back on now.
Okay, cool. If you make the choice, right? Because this is a choice. You can choose to walk away from somebody that you feel it's a very toxic situation, or maybe you don't want to get to know. It's okay. So once you choose to enter in any sort of relationship, whether it's a business partnership, a romantic relationship, a friendship, you make the choice to spend your valuable time with this person. You make the choice to want to connect with this person. So you have to understand that if your values or your wants or your needs do not align, it's either you're going to be pulling that person down or they're going to be pulling you down. And once
It's
you
very
realize,
true. Very,
exactly,
very
and
true.
once you
I
realize that,
yeah, I think so. I think you are spot on in a lot of the things that you are saying. I think must remember sometimes when you are brought up differently, you don't realize these things because, and I can speak from my own experience, right? So I'm going to speak from my own experience and I'm going to share something with you, right? So when you're brought up in a traditional Indian culture, and my parents are, the older generation and the older school type of thinking and stuff, it's very difficult to break free from that. And to your point, it's the choice that you make that separates that, in how you move into the relationships. Some people, and I can tell you some of the stories that I've came across, is that women don't really know how to get out of these toxic relationships. Whether it's being friends, whether it's being girlfriends, whether it's being in a marriage, whether it's a relationship at work, toxic relationships and identifying these toxic relationships is very hard. And when people realize it's not working for them, it's very difficult. You're so into it, it's so difficult to break the relationship. Or in some cases, some people don't understand, or should I actually use the word respect that. It's very, very hard. And I know a lot of people definitely. So there's two comments before you move further, Simongile. So Audria she's from London. She says that your mind is so powerful and you can downgrade yourself. Things change for me when I realize that thoughts become things. That's quite interesting.
very interesting.
Okay. We also have Natasha. So Natasha says, I'm 42, Simbongile, and I connected through work. Sims and I connected through work.
Yeah.
I've had many conversations with her and I'm astounded by her wisdom, wise beyond her age. Absolutely, Natasha, I so agree with you. She is so humble. She reveals her joy, listens to her need, someone to listen to, and she has such a positive outlook in life. Her dedication to herself, her career, building lasting relationships is commendable and highly appreciated by all who know her. Wow, absolutely. That's yeah.
Beautiful.
I feel that. Natasha, well said. Well said. I mean, yeah, to be honest, Simongile, at the age of 25 and to have acknowledged what you are saying right now and feel what you're saying right now, there's a lot more women that need to hear you, Han. A lot more women. What you've discovered, and I mean, Natasha is saying, she's 42. What I can tell you is if you have discovered this at this age, people are around the late 30s, the early 40s are still trying to figure that out. They still are. And what you have received and gifted yourself, and I'm saying gifted yourself, is not a lot of people get to that point. Not at all. So well done to you. It's an amazing journey that you've been through. Definitely, for sure.
Thank you. Wow, that's amazing. Thanks. I'm kind of blushing, but it's cool. I'll get it together.
It's okay. We can put it down. We can put it down. There we go.
Rosy cheeks.
Yeah.
But,
all right.
Yeah, but thank you so much. And I totally understand and acknowledge that when it comes to a place where people are already in these toxic relationships or have already, they don't even know that they kind of need to break free, or they don't even know that they're trapped. Yes, that is hard. However, it's also very important to understand that when it comes to the mind heart network, the connection,
Mm-hmm.
it is
Mm-hmm.
equal. It has to be equal for stability. Because if you have a closed, hard heart, you're going to be closed minded. You're not going to want to, experience the world, talk to new people, want to
Mm-hmm.
understand their point of view. You're going to be basically self suffocating because you don't want to receive that love.
Mm-hmm.
Receive love, you won't be able to give love. And then the other way, and it also goes the other way around. If you have an open heart, a warm heart, you have an open
Mm-hmm.
mind, you want to connect with people, you want to love, you want to embrace other people, build new relationships, form new connections, because that's how you are able to give love as well as know how to receive love. And once you understand that it is a delicate balance between the self in terms of
Mm-hmm.
loving yourself and also being able to love others, because it can be misconstrued with you
Mm-hmm.
just being about you all the time. But
Yeah.
that's why it's important to communicate your boundaries and having healthy boundaries. And when it comes to boundaries, you need to understand that my understanding of what a healthy or strong personal boundary is you taking responsibility of your own actions and emotions while not taking responsibility for actions and emotions for other people. So as soon as you realize that a
Mm-hmm.
person with strong boundaries is not afraid to, well, it's two things. A person with strong boundaries understand that it's impossible and it's to accommodate someone 100% of the time. And they're also not afraid to get into an argument. They're not afraid of conflict and they're not
Mm-hmm.
afraid of getting hurt because
Mm-hmm.
they understand where their line is. Because you have to know once you love yourself, you can't give and give and give and give and not get anything in return. It's
Listen,
unreasonable to think that a person can just give and give and give. But
listen. I can tell you from all the people of, let's just talk women, right? Women
okay.
in general just give by
Yeah,
nature.
givers.
We just givers. We just give
Yeah,
and give
we
and give and
givers.
give. We givers, right? And I think we have to know what these boundaries mean to ourselves, right?
Mm,
Firstly, to acknowledge what boundaries mean to someone, to your point, right? And it's might come out being harsh when I say this, but we have to put boundaries with our kids, with our
yeah,
spouses, with
yeah,
our friends,
ab-
with everybody for that matter. Because if you don't have those boundaries, you're going to keep on giving and you're going to get depleted.
exactly. Literally. And what
Yeah.
is, and there's nothing, it's not going to be good for you when you're
Mm,
stressed out sitting in a hospital bed. Your children are going to need you, your spouse is going to
yeah.
need you, your friends are going to need you, and they've taken so much, but you won't be able to give if you are just depleted. So, in order for you to be able and adequately to give to others and to keep loving others as well as to keep loving yourself is to consider the self. Let's put yourself
Mm,
first because by doing that, you'll be able to do. And you must remember the relationship with yourself sets the tone for the other relationships in your life. So if you don't have a solid relationship with yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't trust yourself, if you're not putting yourself first, you're going to end up in a relationship where you need the approval of somebody else to tell you that you
mm-hmm,
are worthy. Believe me,
mm-hmm,
you are worthy. You are blessed with a brand new day because you are deserving of it. Okay? You are blessed with beautiful children because you are deserving of it. So it's not about you needing somebody else to give you that approval. It's identifying that you as a person already have that approval. You just have to acknowledge it. You have to know who you are and the things that you are able to bring to the table are valuable enough and deserve to be acknowledged by somebody you love.
mm.
but the relationship with yourself sets the tone with every other relationship, that potential relationship or present relationship.
I love
So
that. I really, really love that saying. The tone that you have with yourself actually sets the tone with your relationships.
exactly.
That's absolutely profound. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
Great. Because it's true. And once you have the right attitude towards yourself, you're able to have the right attitude, period. Whether it's the right attitude to complete a job, okay? Because that will affect your work ethic. So if you have the right attitude towards how you do your work, you are pretty much telling yourself that I can do better, I can do more. If you have the right attitude to how you, I don't know, raise your children or how you will support your friends, they can also see that and reciprocate the same love. Because sometimes when it comes to love, it's love is a doing word, okay? It's a verb. So once people see it, they'll receive
Yeah.
it. And once you receive the love that they give you, it also builds you up as a person. And you'll be able to I don't know, it's kind of like a glow, you know? If you have that self-respect, people notice that. People see it from a mile away. They know I can't mess with this girl. I can't mess with this woman because they will see it. It's something that shines within you. So if you don't have
Yeah.
that self-love, you're kind of like in a state of darkness and you're always questioning yourself and you feel, I don't want to say you feel small, but you feel like there's something that's missing within yourself. And people can see that, and you're most likely to be taken advantage of because of it. So it's just a matter of loving yourself, trusting yourself, and putting yourself first. And realizing that your identity it belongs to you and nobody else can give it to you. So yeah.
So I think, if you look back, how do you think somebody gets that tone, that attitude about self? If someone doesn't have it, how do you think they should discover it? What are do you have some recommendations for people that haven't found that yet? Is there something that you think that could help them on the journey, on the path that they are? Because a lot of people seek for that. A lot of people seek, and they do feel stuck, right? They feel stuck in their relationships, they feel stuck in their marriage, they feel stuck in with their kids. They do feel stuck. How do you project, or how do you think that one should embark, or to embrace to discover of who you are, and to find out what is that tone that you're looking for, or the attitude?
All right.
Any
Okay,
suggestions?
so oh yeah, no problem. I got this. I'll answer you. Okay, so when it comes to the self-love journey, first and foremost, it is a tough one. It is not easy, and it's something that's the first thing you need to acknowledge. So don't be hard on yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself about the things that maybe you could have done, should have done. So I made a decision a long time ago. I told myself I will never use should have, could have, and would have in my
Yeah.
vocabulary. I will never
So
look
agree
back
with
in
you.
resentment. Nope.
Yeah.
Don't like resentment, so I choose not to acknowledge it. I
Yeah.
will do something and I'll do something in the present. I'll make a decision that will make me happy because again, the self is about putting yourself first. So, okay, so the first thing is to acknowledge that the self-discovery journey is not easy and will require time and patience from yourself, and that's okay. Communicate this with maybe your spouse or your best friend, someone that is very close to you and someone that supports, right? Because when it comes to discovering yourself, you will need what I like to call an accountability buddy. Okay. So your accountability buddy is someone, it can be whoever you want it to be, but it's someone they see you maybe slip a little bit, or they see you do something that maybe you have started to say, this is not my character. And I'm like, I'm not an angry person. I'm not a a violent person, or whatever it may be. And then you pretty much tell them, hey, listen, as soon as I get to that place, I need you to just call me out on it. And then we'll have a discussion. So you need an accountability buddy, someone who can just support you through your journey. And as a person, or as people, we have those people that we admire. We have role models. So my thing is identify what is it specifically that you appreciate about that specific person, and try to work on that thing. So, oh my gosh, I love that girl's confidence. I wonder how to get there. And then just try put yourself in situations where you have to either sink or swim. And the sink is you just basically stepping away from confronting your fears. And then the swim is you being confident regardless of the fear that you have within yourself. So that's the whole point of being brave, is to have the courage to just break through all your negative thoughts, the naysayers, just do it.
Yeah.
So basically with that role model, just identify exactly what you want what you realize is what you want, what you can attain, whether it's the spirit, whether it's whatever it may be, and then try to work on that part of yourself. Anything. Oh, and in terms of self-esteem, so you must understand that self-esteem and self-worth are two different things. Self-esteem, yes. So self-esteem is something that can fluctuate, right? It's very, it can be attached to your achievements, your accomplishments, your abilities, and it can fluctuate, or even like your social position. Those things can affect your self-esteem. And then when it comes to self-worth, that is outside of your accomplishments and your achievements in your social position. Because you deserve to be loved, right? Regardless of how much money you have, regardless of what your title is, regardless of whatever it is. So that already is like you are worthy of being loved. So that's self-love. You need to love yourself. There you have no choice. But when it comes to self-esteem, that's just, something that may boost your confidence for like that period of time in your life, but it is possible for it to fluctuate. So when it comes to the downs, don't beat yourself up, because it happens. Things happen. And as humans, we are very quick to compare ourselves. And now with young people in the space of social media, it's so easy for us to just scroll through our timelines and then, I don't have that six pack, or, I'm not symmetrical. It's very easy to get into your own mind, get into your own head and be very negative. So when it comes to comparing yourself, don't do it. Just don't do it at all, ever. And that's where your accountability buddy will also keep you, in check with that. It's like, oh, don't you think she has a beautiful style? Nope, you don't do that. What are the 5 things you love about yourself? And then just say it. Be passionate, be brave. Like, just do exactly what you need to do. And I think also read. To be honest, I am not opposed to reading like self-help books and stuff. But I feel like as a person, if you're gonna read those things, you need to have a certain level of self-understanding of who you are, because a lot of those things are also very subjective, right? So if you're going to do something, don't just do it because someone else is telling you to do it, but do it in a way it's like, you know what, that's not me. Maybe I'll try this. And then although it gives you, it'll give you the same result. For example, I'm not a person who meditates. I've tried it. It's tough. And I've tried it consistently. I downloaded a whole app. It's still tough. Like, I'm not a person who meditates. I know that. But but because I know myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm able to, I don't know how to explain it, but I can talk to myself. And that's enough. Like, I can be like, okay, so today, well, I guess with now, like, okay, tomorrow Boile, you're gonna do this open mic thing, you're gonna kill it. So basically I tell myself, and that's how I motivate myself and keep myself sane and make sure that, what I'm supposed to do gets done. So there's different ways in which you can connect with yourself. So if it's through meditation, meditate, if it's through writing and journaling, journal.
I see. The viewers online, guys, if you have any questions for Simongile, if there's any comments, questions, please share it now. I think, Simongile, the last question I have, I think the last thing that I would want to ask is that today's youth, do you believe that they all have embraced themselves in the sense of self-love? Do you think they understand what that is? You shared, yourself and the journey that obviously you found and what you've realized at a very, very young age. Today's youth, do you feel that, or do you think, you probably have a lot of friends, you go out, you socialize. Is our youth there? Do they have the same consensus?
To be honest, to be perfectly honest, I don't think most of us do, but I also do think that a few of us have a solid understanding of who we are, and which is positive. It's just that the others. Okay, let me tell you the reason why I think this. I'm not a person that really goes out much because I'm very comfortable with myself. I'm great. So just saying. But in terms of going out with my friends, I have really social butterfly friends. So they have friends and friends of friends, and it's like this whole thing. So when I'm out, I meet different people through them. And through these situations, you can kind of tell this person is either, putting a facade on. But to be honest, I'm taking it from the perspective of, because I have helped and spoke to a lot of people. So I can kind of tell if somebody's hiding something, or if someone is pretending, or so I have a little bit of that insight. So I honestly believe that with the whole social media culture, it's always for the gram. That's just the psychology that we have now as young people. And it's even not for approval with friends. It's more, if I need to get a job, I need to make sure my social media is on point. My CV is on point. So you try to put up a version of yourself that you would love to be, but sometimes deep down in your mind, in your heart, you realize that it's not you per se. So it's always a pressure thing. You want to live up to societal pressure, but at the same time, you don't feel like you are. So I think there's a gap there.
Okay. So Amina sends through a comment. She says, that was a question I was wanting to ask. Some people may not know how to self-love because of past experiences. And that's very true. So a lot of people think that your past experiences define who you are. And a lot of people think past experiences is probably something that will repeat and continue, not knowing that breaking that cycle is possible. If you choose to go the other way, or if you choose to think that, there is another avenue, or there is another direction, that you can. So great insights, Amina, definitely, for sure, because people do base themselves with their past experiences, for sure.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you realize that you were maybe I don't want to say damaged, but if you realize that maybe there's something not whole within you, I say, why not challenge that? You asking yourself the question, okay, follow through, challenge yourself. And maybe you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I'm okay, I'm great. Maybe you'll get there. Or maybe you'll get to a point where you have to really look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, my childhood wasn't great. and I have so many scars. I couldn't even start counting, but there's something that I need to change. So once you start asking yourself that question of, or maybe feeling that way, maybe it's time to investigate. Look into your heart. Start unpacking that emotional, mental trauma, or whatever it may be, and follow through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there anything else, Simongile, from your side? It's been such an honor having you. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Just one more thing. So when it comes to boundaries, right? I need you to ask yourself if you're ever in a situation whether you have strong boundaries or weak boundaries. So if you ever get to a point where you need to ask yourself, if I change something within the relationship, or if I do this, how will it change the relationship? And if you are afraid of the consequence, then there's a red flag. But if you are okay with the consequence, but not okay as in like, I'll be fine, but in a sense of you are willing to confront your partner or your best friend or your colleague with whatever issue that you've identified, then you probably have more of a stable, stronger boundary, because that's when you start understanding that the only way in which we can get through the awkwardness or the tension is through communication. And that's why conflict is not a bad thing at all, because it means that before, when something happened, clearly none of us were able to get through it. But now that it's a fight, now that we're able to talk about it,
yeah,
the conflict creates that opportunity for whatever to come out and to be revealed. So in order for you to understand that, or not, in order for you to determine whether you have weak boundaries or stronger boundaries, is just to pose the question, if I change this, what if I do this, what would change in my relationship? And if you're afraid of the consequences, something's wrong.
I think if you can rest it with, so I think if you ask the question, if you pose the question, how would that, what emotion do you feel related to asking the question?
Yes.
So, you know, whether you have anxiety, whether you're going to be okay, whether it's, you know, whether you're going to feel, you know, good after saying what you need to say, because it's fear that blocks people as well. They don't wish to say. People think having conflict is bad. I have a different thing. If you don't say what you want to say, or if you don't embrace and be your authentic self with your other person, they're not going to understand who you truly are. Exactly. Because then you're going to be so afraid of saying what you want to say and not actually saying anything. You're going to be keeping quiet and thinking that this person is not going to accept me, or this person's not, and you're gonna procrastinate all the time about what the other person's going to think. In the meantime, you yourself is not even going to be free of what you actually want to say or do, and people will actually not have the conflict because of that, because of the fears that they actually feel.
Yeah, that's 1,000% correct. And if you give people permission to disrespect you, or if you give them permission to not acknowledge your opinions, then you are going to be in a state of constant anxiety and fear forever, even having the voice or the opportunity voice out what you're going through. Because that's the thing, when you make the choice to keep quiet, you also make the choice to let somebody else win.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's really, really true. Rudo says, yes, through effective communication. Absolutely, Rudo. I totally agree with you. Natasha says, Simongele, build boundaries from a young age. If you don't learn the principle, it makes life even more tough as you get older. I still have not mastered this. I can resonate with you, Natasha, as well. And that's the thing. We learn the hard way, but it's also to acknowledge the things we have to learn in order for us to progress and move forward as well. Because if you don't learn from these things, and if you don't learn about yourself and learn about who you are, going back to your earlier points that you've made, you're never going to be able to overcome the fears, the challenges, and more especially understanding who you are, because building those boundaries going forward influences who you are to a certain extent as well. And if you cannot, and if you don't understand that, you're going to be going on this hamster wheel and you're going to carry on and on and on.
Yeah.
And guess what? You're going to get the same result. Nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same.
Exactly. And then you're going to attract the same people that are giving you headaches, that are giving you the stress, test palpitations, and you don't want that.
Oh yeah. Listen, been there, done that.
You don't want that.
I think we all can write books about that. I think we all can say who not to go to, who should go to. And I think we as women, we are so in tune with ourselves, but more especially is that we also don't listen to ourselves. We really don't listen to ourselves. And surprisingly, we know, that little feeling inside of us, someone says, no, we shouldn't. And then we go and do it. And then we said, I should have listened to that. And people, that's what happens, right? We sometimes ignore the feeling that we have inside of us. We ignore that sixth sense, some people call it, the intuition people call it, that gut feeling. We ignore it. I must say of recent, I mean, I've learned how to acknowledge and to listen more to myself than to listen to the outside environment and to listen to that. And sometimes you'll be amazed as to what you can learn from yourself.
Absolutely. But the last thing I actually just want to stress is at the beginning, I said self-love is not vanity, it's sanity. So in the greater scheme of things, it's if you can live with your decision, and if you can go to bed at night, and if you can look your child in the eye or keep loving your best friend or your spouse the way it's supposed to be. If it's something that you in your heart and in your spirit, in your soul, you are able to live yourself with to say, you know what, today I did the best that I can to love my best friend, to love my spouse, to show love to my colleagues. If it's something that you can genuinely say every single night before you go to bed, then you probably did a great job. But you need to say that with yourself included. Like if you are exhausted and you feel defeated and depleted by doing everything else that you were supposed to do, then you probably need to reevaluate things in your life, because that means that you are putting so much pressure to please other people and not to please yourself. So yeah, that's the last tidbit I wanted to just express. And yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been so great having you on Open Mic. For all the listeners out there, Sibongile is coming on next week. We are having a youth talk with a diverse set of people that's coming through to talk to us on the youth next week. It's going to be an outstanding conversation with five literally dynamic people with all sorts of views and things that they face and the challenges. It's going to be an amazing talk next week. So please join us for our first youth talk, going to be coming to the kitchen next week, Sunday at 3 o'clock. Sibongile, thank you so much for your time, for the words, the wisdom. It does make me believe in the youth today. Just listening to you today has been absolutely inspiring, knowing that what you've been through and the journey that you've on and the challenges that you're facing and how humble you are and grounded. And Natasha, I do agree with you. I get the sense of Sibongile as well. Definitely, for sure. Kind words, very inspiring. I just want to say thank you so much for coming, taking the time, having conversations with me in the week and sitting here today and just taking time away from your diary and inspiring the other listeners out there as well. So thank you so much. And I'm going to see you next week for the youth talk. So it's going to be absolutely stunning. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. And we will be connecting at 3 o'clock with the kitchen talks, and we're bringing the teachers to the kitchen today. So guys, please join in at 3 p.m. It's going to be in the next few minutes, and we'll see you then. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, Sibongile.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.